Are you ready for this? Are you ready for the circus? Woo! Yeah, it's me, Bob. I'm here with the clowns.
Wow. Oh, that is great.
Oh my goodness.
That is great.
Why am I so short in that picture? Is my question.
Why are you so short in real life?
I'm not, dude. I'm 6 foot. Okay.
Check out Coco.
That's straight. Coco's like 3 inches. All right. Welcome to OddsJam TV. Randall, he's the leader of this pack. Mike, he's over there. Bob, that's me. And Steve are here. We're here to make your sports betting entertaining. And let me tell you, it's going to be entertaining today. Brought to you by OddsJam, the premier odds comparison company. Don't forget to click the links below for the best sports books in your state. Be in all of them so you can get the best odds when you make a bet. If you want to be profitable, this is what you got to do. As a sports bettor, all you got to do is ask Steve, and this is how we start off our show. Where the hell is Steve? Steve, where are you this week?
Still in Cancun. I'll be here for another few weeks.
Well, that's boring.
Yeah.
That's really boring. I mean, couldn't you say I'm at the whatever hotel?
Yeah. I'm in the hotel, the Portofino. Actually,
Okay.
I have it. It's a little windy today, so I have it turned around.
Okay. Well, great. Boy, I'm glad we're doing that segment, aren't you? Woo!
Another great idea, Bob. By you,
great
baby.
idea. Just like the parlay, which we're going to go into here, all right? So we were picking, making a pick every day and putting a 4-leg parlay together. And for some reason, we have excuse after excuse after excuse from the head bettors, okay? And that's Randall and Steve. They're the most experienced bettors of the four of us, okay? So after having to pick 3 legs last night of a winning 4-leg parlay, I have now decided that if we're going to do a parlay, this is how we're going to do it. A different person picking every day. Me first, then Randall the next day, Steve, and then Mike. In that order, minimum of 3 legs, folks, plus 400 or better. I don't care how you come up with that number. You can have 20 legs to come up with plus 400 if you want to. I could care less, okay? But it's got to be a minimum of 3, all right? So, guys, are we in agreement on that?
Who are we starting today, or you
Yes.
picked the parlay yesterday? So is it my turn today?
No, I will actually pick the full parlay today.
Okay, don't bet this parlay, guys, because he's not winning 2 in a row. So
No, yeah, that is true. That is a very
You never
good
know.
point.
We'll find out. I may pick a 6-leg parlay, all plus 12.
And you're really done.
All right, guys, let's move on to college basketball. Let's talk a little college basketball here. What do you say? Here's what I got up first, and I got a question, and I'm going to start off with Mike here. It's Coach K's last game, Mike. What do you think about this? What he has done for the sport? Are you honoring him today, or could you care less about Coach K? One at a time.
I'll give Coach K his due. I mean, he's been around a long time, accomplished a lot of great things in college basketball alone and in the Olympics. There's no doubt that I'll be hammering Duke in this game. I think the making is there for them to win. No 2 ways about that. So I'm definitely jumping on Duke for betting them heavily. But in terms of his legacy, look, there's been a lot of great coaches, in my opinion, besides Coach K, and I think he's been great for the Olympics. But here's my question. Why wasn't Greg Popovich a part of the Olympics before recently? I mean, I think Popovich is a better coach than Coach K, myself, and I know those are 2 different leagues, college basketball and the pros, but I think Popovich would have been better suited for the Olympics. And I think the fact that he got to coach the Olympics and all those great players, Kobe in his heyday, I mean, it's pretty easy to say, well, he did so great for the Olympic teams. Well, yeah. I mean, he had some of the greatest players of all time.
There's some controversy there between Bob Knight and Coach K. by the way, too, because Knight doesn't think that Coach K should have coached the Olympics more than once. All right, Steve, what's your feelings on Coach K? It's his final home game, man. This is it.
Yeah, I mean, look, Coach K, he's been an icon in the sport, but I think from an X's and O's standpoint, he's not been there the past few years. Like, he's not a game day coach. He's a great recruiter. But, so Duke, can they win it all? Sure. They definitely can. I think, tonight or tomorrow, what's that spread? Duke -10. They just destroyed Carolina by 30 on the road. So, I don't know. I'll definitely have him on a parlay probably. But, I don't know. Coach K, he's decent. I don't think he's the best coach ever. I don't think he's even the best college coach ever. But I have respect for him. He's won his championships. And,
okay.
It's hard to say it sucks.
Randall, your thoughts?
Yeah, same thing. To echo what Steve said, draw a play. Show us some X's and O's. In the game a couple of years ago, I told Steve all year long in college basketball, Duke was going out weekend number 1, and they should have lost to UCF. In that game, Coach K drew up nothing. From an X's and O's standpoint, they got by on pure talent with Zion, which where's he? We talk about where the hell's Steve? Where the hell's Zion? Is that not a bigger bust than Greg Oden? that guy was so overhyped. Coach K is a great recruiter. He gets players to come there, but as far as X's and O's go, I'm not sold on that. And Bob, you could have coached the Olympic team and won gold medal.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with that. Yeah. It's me. Are you kidding me? I could coach anything and win a gold medal.
And let's not act like Coach K was just having those Olympic teams destroying the competition either. They were struggling at times whenever they should have been blowing out. That's why they had the redeem team. You know what I mean? You can't. There's no redeem if you don't have something to redeem. So if Greg Popovich is coaching those teams, they're locked in and playing unreal. So,
all right, good points.
Some accolades there that he shouldn't, in my opinion.
Good points. All right, let's move on. Weekend college basketball games. Going to stick with college basketball. Here's what I got. Arkansas at Tennessee. Steve, any feelings on this game?
Tennessee's the easiest bet in college hoops. You know what it is? Bet them at home, bet against them on the road. You do that, I think you're 15-1 against the spread on the year. The only game that they didn't cover at home was against Texas. 1-point victory. They're undefeated at home. I'll be hammering Tennessee. I don't even care what the line is, actually.
Okay. All right. Randall, you're next. Alabama at your favorite team right now, LSU. And by the way, welcome to the SEC, Randall.
I'll be all over LSU. Already have that game circled. Don't care what the line is. Alabama's garbage. I would actually say LSU will probably be 3.5, 4 in that game, which I don't know, maybe a tad too high, a little bit inflated, but
right.
Yeah. I told you yesterday on our NCAA talk, I think LSU has a chance to make a big run. Talented team, in my opinion.
Speaking of which, folks, like this video, make comments. Please comment. We do respond to comments, and trust me, we will respond. Also, don't forget, Randall was talking about our March Madness preview video on YouTube. You can check that out. I have morning coffee every day. I do NHL picks every day. Steve has stuff. Randall has stuff. Check out the OddsJam YouTube channel. Mike, you're next. Texas at Kansas.
Yeah, I'll be hammering Kansas all the way. They're coming off of a embarrassing loss to TCU. They've lost to Texas already at Texas. There's no way that Texas is going to win at Kansas after that embarrassing loss against TCU.
But then Mike, they came back and only beat TCU by 4.
But they've got some revenge in their mind with Texas already losing to them. They're not going to lose. I'm hammering the heck out of Kansas. I think Kansas is a good team. I really do. I think they're a team depending on the matchups and what we see with the brackets. They could go on a run. I don't know if I'm picking them to win at all, but I think they're an Elite 8 team, no doubt.
We already talked about North Carolina and Duke. I'm just not sure what to think about this. Are these kids going to be too nervous that it becomes a close game? Or does and motivate, and they win by 30. I don't know. I guess I should go ahead and take the points on that. Steve, you get the last word on this segment. Michigan at Ohio State.
Two garbage teams. I thought Ohio State was the best team in the Big Ten until they started losing all these games. I mean, Nebraska is supposed to be like the free square, and, that was an embarrassment. Ohio State did finally turn it around. Or actually, wasn't that game last night? Who did Ohio State just blast? That was last night.
Yeah, it was last night.
Yeah.
No, there's one this weekend, guys.
It was
Michigan
in the parlay last night.
In the parlay last night, yes.
Sorry. Yeah, they have Michigan, or that was Michigan State.
Okay, then it's my mistake. I made a mistake, guys. You know what? And
No,
folks,
no,
I just want you to tell you this. I do
Michigan
make
State.
mistakes.
No,
Okay.
You said it right. I was thinking Michigan State was last night. Yeah. Michigan, bottom line, Michigan's going to have to win the Big Ten tournament to get in, I think, right? Like, I haven't looked at the standings lately, but I'm pretty sure they're on the outside looking in. I mean,
they're on the bubble for sure.
Yeah. So, teams like that who need to win to get in, like you saw with Oregon last night, like these games are meaningless now at the end of the year. So really, Ohio State should win. They burned me the other day. It's hard to trust them. They're not playing well right now, but at their best, I think Ohio State's the best team in the Big Ten by far. So it's going to depend on if that Becton, that freshman, he went off for 21, then he had 30, 3 games in a row, and then he absolutely sucked his past 2 games. So hopefully he can get it together, but I like Ohio State a lot.
By the way, talking about freshmen, you want to know one that killed me yesterday? This kid from Arkansas Little Rock who made 8 out of 9 3-pointers, and Arkansas Little Rock
Welcome to March.
61% from 3-point line. Just crazy.
How many are they catching today? That's a total fade. Do they play today, Bob?
I really don't know. Why don't you check that out for me, Randall? While I shift to NBA talk here, folks. Let's talk the NBA, and let's talk about your boy, guys, Mike, Steve, Ja Morant. Is he the MVP right now? Mike, you and I talked about this on a radio show the other day. Let these people know what you think.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that has to be in the conversation big time now with his last several games. This is a full season that has to play out. So I think that there's a lot of basketball left to be played for that MVP race. I think.
Is he the leader, Mike? Is he the leader?
No, he's not the leader right now as we stand. I think that Joel Embiid is going to have a really, really good chance with that duo with Harden and that pick and roll, man, to really, really tear it up here down the stretch. And I think Embiid's in a good spot, and they're potentially a top seed in the conference. But hey, Morant is no doubt in the conversation and right there now, in my opinion.
Okay. Steve, what's your thoughts on Morant as an MVP?
I think Morant will eventually be the best player in the NBA. But, as far as the MVP race this year, no, because Embiid's he's too far ahead. And like Mike said, with that pick and roll, Embiid just shot 29 foul shots. It's pick your poison now with the Sixers, because both guys are way too good at attacking the rim, And with the pick and roll, what are you going to do? You're going to foul Embiid or you're going to let him score. So, Embiid's going to be very, very hard to stop. Now, the problem is, the Sixers, I think they're going to be a great bet for the rest of the regular season. But when it comes to the playoffs and the rotations get bigger, they just brought in, who was that loser? DeAndre Jordan.
Okay. Hey, Steve, you were really going good there for a little bit. It was much better than your texting. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They just brought in DeAndre Jordan. So bottom line is I think the Sixers are going to have a problem with depth in the playoffs, but Embiid's minus right now. He's like minus 125 on the MVP. Embiid will get it, but I'm the biggest Grizz guy there is. I love the Grizz, best ATS team in the land. Morant's the man, but MVP this year now.
Okay. All right. Randall, your thought? You agree with these two clowns?
Yeah, I would have to say, it probably is Embiid. Morant, though, I agree. I think he's going to be the best player in the league. I watched him a few years back over in Evansville in the OVC championship, best player I've ever seen live. Watched LeBron play live many years ago with his time in Cleveland. And I mean, Morant in college, I mean, he was just on a different level. And I mean, you see it night in and night out with him. Didn't win last night though in Boston, but I think he had a pretty big game. So
yeah, he did. He actually did. Okay, guys, what's happened to Golden State, Steve?
Believe it or not, no Draymond Green. I mean, for a guy who averages 3 points a game, you wouldn't think that his absence would be a big problem. But, I mean, let's not forget, Golden State was one of the best against the spread teams in the league, had the best record. He gets hurt. Now, all of a sudden, they can't cover a game or even really win a game to save their life. I think they've been one of the worst against the spread teams over the past 2 weeks. I mean, the problem is, he's their glue guy. He just does too much on defense. He does too much, I'm no Draymond Green fan whatsoever, but he's an integral part to that team, and he has been for years. I think when he comes back, they'll be okay. But for me, I mean, the Suns this year, they're West to lose.
Okay.
The Grizz might be there, but I think they're maybe a year or two early. They're a little young, but the Grizz could do it. But yeah, the Warriors.
All right, Mike, you agree? Mike, you agree with Steve on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, the one thing that Golden State has not been doing, and they have had this issue a lot throughout the year. I mean, they had a skid in January where they struggled as well, rebounding. And he said it, Draymond Green, no Draymond Green, that's a killer.
You know who else? You know who else says that, Mike? Kenny White.
But what that shows me is in the playoffs, if they run into situations where Draymond Green is in foul trouble or something and can't be involved in the game like they would like, they're in a lot of trouble because they can't rebound without him. So that's not good. That shows they've got no one aside from him that can get the job done, and that's scary.
Okay, I'm moving on here to some games for the weekend, guys. I'm going to give each one of you a game. Friday, Milwaukee is at Chicago, Randall. Any feelings on this game whatsoever?
None at all, Bob. You know I'm not an NBA guy. I like to put this on my
Come on, dude.
On my list.
Milwaukee or Chicago? Chicago's coming off their loss. Milwaukee at Chicago. Milwaukee's got 2 big games this weekend. Who do you feel?
What's the
Chicago
line?
Win?
What's the line?
I don't know. You're the line guy here. I can only do so much. I got everything else to do. I got to write the show.
Line, Bob.
Bob doesn't even about a game, and we don't know the line.
No,
what do you think? He's the line guy. I'm just the host. I write the script, man. Come on.
Bucks -5.
All right. Yeah, I guess give me the home team. So bet the Bucks. I don't know what I'm doing in the NBA, Bob. Come on now.
Bob, ask the NBA guy who hasn't lost an NBA spread bet since the All-Star break has come back.
Yeah,
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Is it at Chicago or Milwaukee?
Hey, I got an idea. I got an idea, Steve. I got an idea, Steve. Wait your turn, which is now, Steve. Philadelphia at Milwaukee, Miami Saturday. Your Heat. Is Miami going to win this game, or are they going to do what they did the other day and blow a parlay?
Do you see what they did last night? They won, no Jimmy, no problem. Came back, won outright. And that was a huge line move. I liked them. I was about to bet them, but then it went from Heat -3 to Nets -1 to Nets -3. Didn't matter. All Heat numbers cash. Heat are elite. Heat. So one thing about the Bulls, I like the Bulls, but when the Bulls, they're good at beating up on the weak teams, and they're good at beating the pretty good teams. When they've played teams with a record of 600 or better, they're 1-11 in their last 12 against the spread. Heat just pissed on them a few nights ago.
Well, you are all over your stats there, aren't you? Your ATS and everything.
I love the NBA. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Bob, you have to be.
All right.
The Heat are the opposite. The Heat, when they play teams who are above 600, 9-1 ATS. So
okay.
Yeah.
Very good, Mike. You got Philadelphia.
Heat are nasty. Heat
or
win the
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You got Phoenix. You have Phoenix at Milwaukee on Sunday, Mike.
And how unfair and ridiculous is this? You're having me pick a game that's happening Sunday, and I still need to see what Milwaukee and Chicago do because Milwaukee is playing Sunday,
Life's
I mean,
not fair, son.
I mean,
no,
something
that's
could happen to
ridiculous.
Green.
Why would I give any betting advice on a game that's happening Sunday, and one of those teams still have to play another game prior to that? So I got to see what happens there.
Okay, so I tell you what, I'll take the pressure off of you. All right?
No. You already threw it on. Here's what I'm going to do.
Whatever the spread is, okay?
No, I don't. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to assume Milwaukee's at Chicago. Let's just assume that Milwaukee is going to struggle against Chicago, and they're at home against Phoenix. So let's just say that they'll cover that spread.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Great job.
I mean, Bob, something could legitimately happen to Greek or Middleton. I mean,
I'm asking you at this.
Yeah, and if they get embarrassed, if Milwaukee gets embarrassed by Chicago, that changes my approach
at this
to
moment
Sunday.
in time, guys. At this moment in time, what are your thoughts? Not tomorrow, not the next day. Okay.
At this moment in time, I need to see the Friday game play out before I worry about the Sunday game, bro.
Let's move on. I picked Phoenix. It's too late. All right. NHL talk. This is real simple. Just tell me whether contender or pretender. Mike, I'll start with you. I'm going to name a team. Just tell me whether they're a pretender or a contender. The New York Rangers, Mike, pretender or contender?
They're a pretender.
Okay. All right. Steve, the Boston Bruins, pretender or contender? Bob, say.
Steve,
it
starts with a C.
You know my take on the NHL. I won't say it because this is a PG-13 show. C, contender.
Okay. All right.
That boy, man.
Randall, the Vegas Knights, pretender or contender?
I want you to ask me about the Blues.
That's not one of the four teams. So once again, follow the host, the guy who wrote the script. Okay. Can you do that? Can you guys follow directions, or is that impossible?
Pretender.
Okay. All right. And Mike, I'm going to give you the Minnesota Wild, pretender or contender?
A contender. I think they're a contender.
All right. That takes care of the NHL. I am going to open this up to what we're going to call the closing line. And the closing line value in this is you get a subject to talk about, whatever you want to. It's open to you guys. Hopefully you've thought about some things and you can handle this. Maybe not. I'm going to start this off with John Rahm, okay? John Rahm, a few years ago, was a guy who, when he screwed up on the golf course, would fall apart, okay? Now, he's not going to win the Arnold Palmer Invitational this weekend. He missed a 10-inch putt yesterday. But the difference between John Rahm, the number one in the world, John Rahm, compared to a few years ago, is he will keep his composure because he's still, in my opinion, and evidently in the world golf rankings opinion, the number one player in the world. I love the guy. I think he's fantastic. I love his personality. I love his guts. I think he's great. That's my closing line for today. You know what? Let me pick. Mike, give me a closing line.
You know, I said a couple of weeks ago something about James Harden and eating jelly donuts or something. What I meant was James Harden is going to be dishing the ball out to Joel Embiid so well that the ball's going to stick to him like jelly donuts, and they're going to tear it up, right? I made a big mistake by dogging James Harden on that move because we have seen this story before with James Harden. Every time he goes to a new team, there is one thing that does start to happen. They end up making the conference finals at least, right? We saw this in Houston. And the one difference, though, is he's got Joel Embiid now, man. And I think this Philadelphia team is going to be dangerous. I agree they're not going to the NBA Finals, but I would not be a bit surprised if they don't make the conference finals and James Harden is bounced again there. But in the meantime, I was wrong.
Okay. I like hearing that. Steve, your closing line.
Yep. I'll stick with the NBA. So 3 teams to bet: Heat, Grizzlies, Cavs, and road favorites this time of year are killer, especially if they're between -5 and -10. 65% since the calendar hit 2022. Reason being, A lot of these games are blowouts. If you win on the road, you cover. It's a great trend that hits in February, so keep an eye on that.
Okay, very good. And Randall, you have the final closing line.
Well, I'm just going to give you credit, Bob, for hitting your parlay last night. But I'm also going to give credit to Steve and I for providing 2 winners as well.
Oh, my
Another
gosh.
parlay. So,
Oh, my gosh.
the
Are you-
parlay won.
Hey, let him talk.
Mastodons, baby. Oh, yeah. And bet the Mastodons to win their league. Plus 250. I got it plus 450. 250 still good.
Hey, Bob.
Yo.
It's okay.
All right, folks. That ends OddsJam TV for this week. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did bringing it to you. Don't forget to like the video, comment. I don't care. Do whatever you want to.